Warhawks know what it takes to become champions. At the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, our student athletes pursue excellence with a determination that inspires everyone on campus. Warhawks are smart. Warhawks are strong. Warhawks value service. We prepare our student athletes for life after college. The University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. Come be part of the Warhawk family.
Tech Crew is a position at the University Center that we have that employs students as workers to provide AV support for various events. Conferences, camps, orientations, entertainment events such as magicians, comedians, bands, and a wide variety of various things that the University Center hosts.
Tech Crew is a great place for people who are interested in lighting and sound to really get hands-on experience and to learn and to grow, and just to be surrounded by great people who also want to learn.
It is that atmosphere. It's fun, it's entertaining, you learn a lot. I've been here for a long time and I've learned a lot about various different types of people, different types of events. I've met a lot of connections that will help me later in life, and it's just fun to be around and do what you like to do in a setting where you can learn too.
Sign up for Tech Crew today.
Whether you live on campus or commute, University of Wisconsin-Whitewater's 13 dining locations offer many benefits while working for dining services. From meal prepping, catering events, to working alongside others, dining service is flexible with hours, customer focus, and offers management advancement. University of Wisconsin-Whitewater's dining services, where coworkers learn to work together in a friendly environment. To work for dining services, contact campus-dining.com/UWW or stop by one of the 13 locations to get your application today.
Hi, I'm your host Myron Jacobs, and welcome to Eerie Theories, the latest TV show to decipher popular conspiracies and that explores the mysteries of our world. On today's episode, we're going to be breaking down the Roswell UFO theory. First, let's talk about the infamous Roswell crash. This crash happened in 1947 in Roswell, New Mexico, the same year where 300 plus reports of UFO sightings were mentioned. The crash happened just north of Roswell in the fields of Foster Ranch. The fact of the matter is that something crashed in the field that night, but it's still up for debate whether or not it was a UFO or a weather balloon. Let's look at the events that happened right after the crash. Not even a month later, Mac Brazel, a local rancher, went to investigate the crash site. He takes the debris he found to the local police department, and from there, it finds its way to the Air Force. The Air Force then takes it to their higher-ups, who appoints Major Jesse Marcel, an intelligence officer, to investigate the crash site and recover the materials. After this visit, Marcel briefs Air Force Superior Colonel Blanchard on his crash visit. This pushed Blanchard to immediately issue a press release saying that they have, and I quote, a flying saucer in their possession. After, the Roswell Daily Record ran the headline, Roswell Army Airfield captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region. On the same day, the Air Force strangely changes their story. The materials were then taken to an Air Force base in Texas by General Roger Ramey, who inspects the materials for himself. Ramey claims that the debris found were simply pieces of a weather balloon. This caused the newspaper to issue a correction stating that it was not a flying saucer but a weather balloon. They even took a picture showing Major Marcel looking at the alleged debris. In the picture, it just looks like a bunch of plastic and sticks. Also, in the newly issued paper, they get Brazel to recant his statement about the UFO debris. After this, the world forgot about Roswell for a long time. In 1978, UFO researcher Stanton Friedman starts to investigate the crash. He interviews Marcel, the intelligence officer who inspected the crash first. Marcel says that he believed that the wreckage definitely wasn't a weather balloon. He described the metal found around the crash scene. He says it felt like you had nothing in your hands. It was lighter than aluminum foil, but it wouldn't bend. A sledgehammer would just bounce off of it. After this, Friedman interviews more people who witnessed these materials. These people were civilians and former military. After conducting these interviews, Friedman concluded that there was in fact a massive cover-up. A cover-up that allegedly included the site, the materials, and even alien bodies. In 1994, the Air Force admits that the Roswell crash was in fact a cover-up. Not for aliens, but for weapons testing right after World War II. They called it Project Mogul. This was a top secret military project that sent a 60-foot balloon in the air. This balloon could detect if anyone else in the world were running nuclear bomb tests, so they say. The government seemed like they were knowingly getting attention off of the alien possibility. They had answers to combat every question of extraterrestrials. These answers were far from believable. They had no real explanation of the bodies or the foreign material said to be as light as foil but wouldn't bend. What do you think? Do you believe that people in the late 40s were just delusional? Or do you believe that the government isn't giving us the whole truth? We'll be discussing more on this topic when we get back. Stay tuned.
Warhawks know what it takes to become champions. At the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, our student athletes pursue excellence with a determination that inspires everyone on campus. Warhawks are smart. Warhawks are strong. Warhawks value service. We prepare our student athletes for life after college. The University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. Come be part of the Warhawk family.
Whether you live on campus or commute, University of Wisconsin-Whitewater's 13 dining locations offer many benefits while working for dining services. From meal prepping, catering events, to working alongside others, dining service is flexible with hours, customer focus, and offers management advancement. University of Wisconsin-Whitewater's dining services, where coworkers learn to work together in a friendly environment. To work for dining services, contact campus-dining.com/UWW or stop by one of the 13 locations to get your application today.
Welcome back to Eerie Theories, the latest TV show deciphering the world's mysteries. We just broke down the Roswell UFO theory. Now let's discuss some thoughts and opinions about this topic. The first red flag I noticed about this was the Air Force admitting a cover-up. This makes no sense. When has the government ever admitted to blatantly lying to the public? The government knows they can't keep the whole truth from us, so they give us just enough to keep our curiosity in check. I do believe Project Mogul was real, but I don't believe the Roswell crash had anything to do with it. If that was the case, why would the Air Force cause so much panic? Another thing that raises my suspicion is the fact that 60 people had similar stories. I'm not saying that 60 people can't be wrong, but why else would people who've never met have similar stories? We also have to analyze Marcel's interview. He says himself that whatever he found was something he has never seen before. He claims it wasn't of this world. I'm not a professional in aerotechnology, so if an expert says something, I'm going to believe it. This is all the time that we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. This is the last episode of Eerie Theories. Thank you so much.